Hey guys, it's Mr. Sean. Before we get started today, I want to give a shout out to my biggest supporters, J-Dog and Patty Slaps. Thank you both so much for your continued support. And if you'd like to get your name shouted out alongside J-Dog and Patty Slaps at the start of one video each week, you can join either the Beta Club over on Patreon or the Beta Tomorrow Society here on YouTube. Enjoy the video, everyone.
Everyone loves media, but sometimes we lose media, lost media. Then we all go search for media, lost media. It's not found, it's lost, lost media. Sometimes it's well known, we all know that it's media, lost media. We love to search for media, but it's not that media, lost media. It's lesser known, lost media. Not well known, but it's still lost. Lost media. Lost media. It's lesser known, lost media. Here with Mr. Shaw.
What's up, Chimera crew? It's time for Volume 80 of Lesser Known Lost Media. I cannot believe we've gotten all the way to 80 episodes of this series. Thank you all so much for continuing to come and watch these and for making suggestions. It really has been the lifeblood of this channel. A little backstory to those of you new to this series. We started this series all the way back on May 8th of 2023, and we have now hit 80 volumes of this series. How it works is I cover pieces of lost media that just don't get their fair share of time on YouTube and other, channels that talk about lost media. You never hear about these pieces, and I want to bring them to light. I start with 4 mundane, safe-for-work pieces of lost media, and then end with a 5th, spicier piece. And today, to celebrate 80 volumes of this series, we are going to cover video games. It's a special video game episode here on Lesser Known Lost Media. Let's begin. At number 1, we have Basha's Adventures, partially found Super Mario Bros. Arabic ROM hack from 1995. Basha's Adventures is an Arabic ROM hack of Super Mario Bros. Released sometime in 1995. This ROM hack is a modification of a version which in turn is a modification of Super Mario Bros. Called 2 on cartridges with multiple integrated games. In this ROM hack, Mario is seen dressed as a Pasha, and some enemies, backgrounds, and objects have been modified. This hack has been rumored to have appeared on a 7-in-1 cartridge of unknown origin. Within it, the hack is titled Mario on the selection screen. It has also been seen as a game integrated into a Famiclone console from the company Raymar International, a company that is dedicated to distribution of these video games in the Arab market. It is rumored that employees of said company created the ROM in question. For this game, at the moment, there is no possible way to play it. There is only a video showing a few minutes of gameplay, in addition to a post on the NesDev forum from a user asking how to extract the Basha ROM hack that is included on their console. I'm not much of a retro gamer myself, but I always enjoy finding out about these ROMs that are made to kind of localize a game to a different market, which I definitely think is something pretty cool, and something that honestly should be done, or at least should have been done when it was more viable back in the day, should have been done to, grow your game's reach if you could edit it just slightly for a different market. So I think stuff like this is cool. Hopefully someday the ROM is released entirely and people can play this version. At number 2, we have City of the Dead, which is a lost build of a canceled first-person shooter from 2006. Now, City of the Dead, also known as either George A. Romero's City of the Dead or The Living Dead City of the Dead, is a canceled 2006 first-person shooter game that was to be published by Hip Interactive, with development being handled by Kuju Entertainment for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC. The game was to take place on a fictional island known as Ningun Futuro, meaning no future in Spanish, and was to be the first of a number of games based on the Dead series. Following an array of secret military tests on cadavers that go horribly wrong, a zombie outbreak occurs, endangering the island's inhabitants. It's interesting to note that Romero's 2004 reimagining of Dawn of the Dead ends with the remaining survivors becoming stranded on an island. It has been speculated that said island may have actually been Ningun Futuro, tying the game to the film. While it was officially stated that neither City of the Dead nor any of its planned follow-ups would contain any references to the original 1978 Dawn of the Dead, likely due to copyright issues, this doesn't necessarily rule out the possibility of it having been tied into the 2004 reimagining of the film. It is cited that the game was cancelled due to Hip Interactive's tight budget and subsequent lack of funding, soon thereafter leading to their permanent closure. Tom Savini, a makeup artist and regular actor in Dead series, was announced to have been providing the voice and likeness of a character named William Red McLean, who would have later become playable in the game. Notably, a 1-minute trailer of City of the Dead was shown at E3 2005, although at no point was a playable version of the game made accessible to patrons. Said trailer has since appeared online and can still be viewed there. This sounds like very early, like an early version of ideas in gaming that would later be utilized in both Dead Rising as well as Dead by Daylight. The idea of being trapped in an area with a bunch of the infected, which were created by government experiments. So very tried and true for zombie video games, even ones still coming out as early as this year, as late as this year. But I think maybe this one would not quite have been up to snuff with our modern takes, but it would have definitely been fun to have a first-person zombie shooter be made available as far back as the PS2 era. So this one would have been fun. I wish we'd gotten to play it. At number 3, we have Darkspore, which is a lost, inaccessible action role-playing PC game from 2011 to 2016. So yes, Darkspore was a 2011 action RPG PC game developed by Maxis and published by Electronic Arts. It was an indirect sequel to 2008's Spore, a creature creation game also developed by Maxis. The game's graphical style was far different from its predecessor, taking on a more realistic and dark style. The game was infamous for its always-online DRM, requiring an internet connection even if someone wanted to play single player. This was put on top of already requiring Origin to run the game, which also required an internet connection at all times. On March 1st of 2016, Darkspore's servers were shut down, making the game entirely unplayable, even with a physical copy of the game, as it still needs the servers to be up. The gameplay of Darkspore was mostly single player, but it also featured online co-op and PvP, player versus player, and was quite similar to Blizzard's Diablo series. Similar to Spore, it had a hero editor, which was the equivalent of Spore's creature creator. Now, as to the shutdown, on March 1st of 2016, Electronic Arts announced that they were shutting down the game's server. The closure was met with negative feedback, with Mark Richard of TechRaptor stating that the shutdown of Darkspore was banishing the title from gaming history, and Clint Basinger of Lazy Game Reviews saying in a video review that, while he didn't like the game much, the game being shut down was an assault on history. He also criticized the game's convoluted DRM system, as well as DRM in general, stating that Darkspore was a reminder of the cons of DRM platforms such as Origin and Steam. As previously stated, the game can't be played in any way currently, and unless EA and Maxis make an offline option available, bring back the servers, or another party somehow hacks the game to get past the DRM, it may never be playable again. And people have tried. In December of 2018, Reddit user VitorMM wrote a topic about his attempts at making Darkspore work on a private server running on Python. After searching over the code, VitorMM discovered that when trying to boot Darkspore attempts to find the domain where the bootstrap is located, with Electronic Arts closed down back in 2016, thus leading to the connection error message. Since then, he has been hard at work, making Darkspore playable once again by cracking down its in-game DRM. VitorMM states that his goal is to make all copies of Darkspore, whether they were bought on Steam, Origin, or a disc, to be playable without the need of purchasing the game a second time. With time, VitorMM gathered more programmers to help him work on making the game playable, with the project now under the name Darkspore LS. As of right now, the team behind Darkspore LS has managed to make the play button functional and gaining access to the login screen. While the team has already gained access to the hero editor, the game's single-player campaign is yet to be playable, either being connected to the internet or offline. And the project has since been renamed Resurrection Capsule. Now, I had heard of Spore, I'd definitely heard of Maxis and Electronic Arts, but I had never heard of Darkspore, and it sounds like it's a game that, maybe not the best game ever, I don't know, people seem to have enjoyed it though, definitely fell victim to corporate greed. Does anyone else remember when Xbox tried to announce that their, Xbox One was going to need to be constantly online in order to function, and the amount of backlash they received led them to kind of backtrack and go, no, we're not doing that, sorry. Yeah, that was nuts. And it feels like this game, they actually didn't backpedal. EA decided, and Maxis decided, hey, we're going to do this. We don't care. You need our servers to play, and now we're going to shut down the servers. And oh, that means you can't play your game anymore? Sucks to suck, right? Well, thankfully, there are dedicated people who are trying to remedy that situation long after the creators of the game have abandoned it. So good work, boys, and hopefully we all get to play this one sometime in the near future. Alright, moving right along. At number 4, we have Burnout Freestyle, a lost build of a cancelled Nintendo Wii/DS racing game in 2010. Now, Burnout Freestyle is a cancelled racing game that was intended for the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo DS. It was developed by Criterion Games and was set to be published by Electronic Arts. Hey, look, it's EA again, as the first Nintendo-exclusive Burnout game before its development was shelved in favor of Criterion working on Need for Speed titles. The Burnout series had only previously seen a few releases on Nintendo platforms. After Burnout and Burnout 2 Point of Impact were released for the Nintendo GameCube, no other main series titles were released on the platform, including Burnout 3 Takedown. The last Nintendo Burnout game released was Burnout Legends for the DS in November of 2005. Burnout Freestyle would have become the first in the series to receive a Wii release, while also being the second DS title. It reportedly also would have emerged as the first Nintendo-exclusive Burnout game. Alas, Burnout Freestyles was generally kept under wraps before being quietly cancelled by December of 2010. However, the game's existence was publicly confirmed when EA outsource manager Paul Dibden provided information about the game and DS screenshots on his website. While these were swiftly taken down from the website and left unarchived, GameCube extracted the screenshots and preserved them. Further, cartoon Burnout cars and even a Burnout pinball table were included as part of Dibden's online portfolio. Reports indicate that Burnout Freestyle was cancelled so that Criterion could primarily focus on fellow EA racing series Need for Speed, developing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, which was released in November of 2010. In total, 16 screenshots of the DS version were released. Analysis indicates the game would contain a variety of mini-games involving the DS stylus, including landing stunts and maintaining and repairing cars. GameCube compared the screenshots to the gameplay of Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. One screenshot tasks the player to collide with 10 vehicles, becoming the closest to replicating Burnout's crash mode introduced since Point of Impact, which again was my favorite part of Point of Impact. Notably, no screenshots showed any racing events. The game's graphics and focus on minigames has led some fans to theorize that Burnout Freestyle may well have been an earlier version of Burnout Crash, released in September of 2011 for the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and iOS. If that was the case, certain minigames, including the aforementioned car maintenance challenges, were not carried over for this release title. Ultimately, no build of Burnout Freestyles has been publicly released. The screenshots indicate that the game had received some development prior to being shelved, but are the only viewable remnants of the title. No content from the Wii version has ever leaked. I used to love playing Burnout 2 Point of Impact, specifically for the crash mode, so the fact that they would have been reintroducing a crash mode in this would have been absolutely phenomenal. I'm sad nobody ever got to play this game, but hopefully someday we get another Burnout game with a crash mode, or that's my hope anyway. Alright guys, we're about to get to that fifth spicy piece of media, but before we do, let me make a couple of brief announcements. One, thank you so much for viewing and for being with us. If you've been since the beginning, thank you for sticking with me for 80 episodes. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not done so already. Please consider becoming either a YouTube member or a Patreon patron with tiers starting as low as $1 a month. And also be sure to check out my miniatures on eBay and Mercari, many starting as low as $5 a piece. Also, big announcement. So, for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I'm doing something similar to what I did last year. Now, New Year's Eve, we will have a supercut of all the lesser-known Lost Media videos that have come out this year since the last supercut aired. Also, on New Year's Day, there will be a supercut of the Recovered Relics series, including all of the videos released in 2024. That is going to be a bit shorter. It's a newer series, but the supercut will be airing if you just want to get all caught up in anticipation for the videos coming out in 2025. Now, let's get to that fifth spicy piece. At number 5, we have the MDickie Show, partially lost uncensored version of drama talk show video game from 2003. So the MDickie Show is a 2003 video game developed by MDickie. It is based off a drama show in which it's similar to Dr. Phil, but with violence, and you get to simulate the show. During the game's release, MDickie had sold an uncensored version of the game on his website for $15, which is said to contain more adult content than the currently downloadable version of the game, which used to be available to download on MDickie's site at one point until it was removed, but it has been archived. So that's the censored version of the game is archived, and it contains less of this content. It is unknown if MDickie will still provide the uncensored release of the game for $15, considering he stopped creating PC games a long time ago. The uncensored version has not been released by the developer online, and it is unknown if anyone still has a copy of the game, making it lost media. The uncensored version is said to have uncensored dialogue and more gore. It is shown that it has a uncensored nude character model after a screenshot of the uncensored version was posted on Reddit. Currently, only one screenshot from the uncensored version exists online, which is again the one posted to Reddit by a user named The Sham Woohoo. It is currently unknown if he will provide a copy of the uncensored version of the game, but this is the only person known to currently have a copy of the uncensored version, meaning that it's very hard to find. Now, on the 12th of September 2023, someone did contact MDickie via email to see if he still had a copy of this version, and the developer said, "Sorry, even if I had it, I would not share anything that would be considered controversial nowadays," meaning that MDickie himself is not going to be releasing this game. MDickie later confirmed that he doesn't even have the files for it anymore, so even the creator does not have a copy. Now, some headway was made later in December of 2023 when Lost Media Wiki user Eternally Eve did find an earlier version of the game that does contain some of the content from the uncensored version, such as the uncensored nude character model that was later removed. However, this version still contains censored audio. Now, in January of 2024, the Sham Woohoo found the uncensored voice clips, and these can be added back into the game via file swapping. So all of this, the little bits here and there, were taken by Eternally Eve in February of 2024, and a modded, restored version of the game with all the content that would be for the uncensored version was put back in and uploaded the recreated version onto archive.org. So while technically we have all the bits and pieces, we do not have an accessible original copy of the original uncensored game. So while this makes this only partially lost, it is still technically lost, even though we can kind of see a recreation of the original game. And honestly, to me, that's what makes this one interesting, because, I mean, ultimately, probably the game itself, just from what I see of it, it's not a great game. It's an old 2000s game, wouldn't hold up to today's standards, but all the work that went into giving us at least a recreated restoration of what the game would have looked like, in the same way people do recreations of lost films and things like that. It's just amazing the level of dedication and time and perseverance that the members of the Lost Media community put into these projects, and I, for one, salute them. And thus concludes our 80th episode, everybody. This has been an amazing ride, and I can't wait to see where the show goes from here. We're going to keep it going into 2025, and again, you'll be able to catch the supercut of all of this year's videos on New Year's Eve, so look forward to that. If I do it right, which I should be able to do, the supercut will start at a point that will mean that the video with all the pieces put together, of course, all the intros, outros, and sales pitches will be removed, but it should end just before midnight of New Year's Day 2025. If I do it right, I'm gonna have to factor in ads and all that too. So here's hoping, fingers crossed. But thank you for being with me. Until next time, I'm Mr. Sean. This is Chimera Miniatures, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the show. We hope you'll stick around. Mr. Sean is here to entertain the crowd. We've got a bit of everything, 'cause everything's allowed. Chimera Miniatures is here to stay. We hope we make you proud. Oh, we're diving deep into the dark and the strange, finding the relics that time couldn't cage. Lost and found, buried underground. Bringing to light what's been hidden and bound. The Chimera stage, we set them free. Mr. Sean, he's got the key. From forgotten cartoons to shadows that creep, both VHS tapes to dusty deep. There's footage from realms that no one's seen, where neckbeard legends haunt the screen. It's the stories that doubt, the punch too rare. Mr. Sean finds it all and brings it to air. Oh, we're diving deep into the dark and the strange, finding the relics that time couldn't cage. Lost and found, buried underground. Bringing to light what's been hidden and bound. The Chimera stage, we set them free. Mr. Sean, he's got the key.